Sounds good.
Hey guys, Rob Davis, EXP Australia. Want to introduce you to Ben Codling with EXP Australia as well. And so, Ben, welcome to the interview. And we're going to find out a little bit about you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
yes.
great.
Lots to find out.
So, Ben, tell us whereabouts you're working at the moment. Where's your patch? Where do you work in real estate?
So, live and work in Warragul, West Gippsland, Victoria. Yep. Created a company called Borbor Real Estate, which covers the entire Shire.
Yep.
So multiple towns. So basically about an hour and 15 out of Melbourne to the east.
Yep, east. Yep, great. And what kind of a community is that? Is it a rural community? Is it a bit of a mix, or?
Becoming more like an extension of Melbourne, but at its heart, very much a rural community, dairy sort of area, lush green hills,
beautiful,
all that sort of stuff. So we didn't have any all the way through summer. We had no dry grass. It was actually green all the way through.
Wow.
So.
Wow, not very many places in Australia can say that.
No, exactly.
That's cool. So let's get a little bit about your background. How did you get into real estate?
So, well, it's a bit of a story, but basically always wanted to get into real estate from when I was a youngster, probably back in the 90s. I actually did what was called the sub-agents course back then, but then didn't go into it. So I worked retail, worked all the way through. Then I actually went into accounting, worked as a paraprofessional in accounting in a family business for quite a few years, and dealt a lot with real estate and people who had investment properties and dealing with back in the 90s, there was actually the property spruikers as such, who could market to accountants and their client base back then, which obviously has changed. So basically didn't ever get into it until about 5 years ago though. I basically reached a point where the kids were old enough and Michaela, my wife, was working full time, and I could make that leap across into real estate.
Awesome. So 5 years in the industry. Have you always worked at one place, or I know you've just started your own business. Tell us a little bit about that.
No, look, very much came on as an assistant back in 2015 for one of the big players down in Warragul. Did about 9 months there. Got a really good grounding in what the basics, what you need to do, the discipline, and that sort of stuff. So did that for 9 months, but I could see that I wasn't ever going to get anywhere there where, well, at least not where I actually wanted to go. So I then took a job at a smaller town further down in Trafalgar. I was there so basically I've worked for about 3-4 companies. I worked there for 14, 15 months, but they had a bit of a business model change and went back to a one-agent model. And they had a senior agent there who'd been there for years. So I got made redundant. So at that point, I was actually listening to Craig's interview from last week. I basically then used that opportunity to get my license. So I spent a couple of months doing that. And then
in
took on my
Victoria,
first
you call that a
assignment
full license, is that right?
Full license, yeah. So basically you can be the officer in effective control then. So I then took on a role with a company as officer in effective control. It certainly opened up my boundaries as such. Then jumped again a couple of months after that, just the situation didn't work. And I went down to Elders Jargon, where I was until I started my own business.
Okay. And so you started your own business. Give us a plug. What's it called?
It's called Borbor Real Estate. Basically, look, there's quite a few towns around West Gippsland, and as it turned out, I ended up working in most of them over a bit of time. So I thought I'd actually use the Shire name as such, and and the name was still available, which surprised me. So
how good is that?
I grabbed it.
So you've got your own company, but you're working in association with eXp Realty. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, so Ballball Real Estate in association with eXp Australia.
Yeah, and I think that's a model that a lot of people will embrace, where they can have their own brand as such, but using all the system structures and benefits, I suppose, of the eXp Realty model here in Australia. So that's exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, look, 100% right. And look, I guess the beauty of it is, like where I live, it is very locally focused, and you need to have that local link. So you've either got to have the existing network and piggyback in maybe with a name like eXp or another one of the mobile ones. But for me, I'd only moved down to Gippsland 10 years ago, so I'm not what you'd call a local.
Yeah.
Someone said to me that your grandmother has to be buried there to be a local. So,
absolutely. Absolutely. Now that's really good. And so how long has that business been going?
Look, it's a startup, February. So basically,
okay.
Look, I quit my other role December, Christmas time. Took a little bit of January to get out of that, and started in February. I was looking for a company to go with. So basically, how I got into eXp was the mobile model was the appealing model for me.
Yeah.
And I literally looked at all of the options available.
Yeah.
Either basically across Australia.
Right.
And I just wasn't jumping. I was sitting there going, look, I know I need to jump, but I just wasn't happy.
Right.
So then I must look, it was sheer circumstance. It was actually just a chance LinkedIn ad that I saw. I think it was from an American eXp person.
Yep.
And I clicked in and went from there and saw that eXp Australia was starting up, and I could see the synergies of two startups, but obviously with eXp having the backing of 20,000 plus agents in America and across North America, it really did appeal. And I've got to be honest, it was that got me on board. I did a bit of research, but and obviously the factors that helped was obviously the shares and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I can actually do all of the extra bits, the 5% from your commission, all that sort of stuff, and I'm still getting 65% up. So it's a very good deal.
Yeah, well, I think it's so the concept is so new to the Australian marketplace that it's really it'll take some time for people to get used to that. Doing business the way that eXp does business is even an option. It's traditional real estate's been so done the same way in Australia for so long. But as the great speakers, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins and whatnot, they always say success leaves clues. And we've gone from, eXp globally has gone from, I think it's 5,000 agents in 2017, which isn't that long ago. And to now we're at 28,500 agents. So success definitely leaves clues. People are looking at this opportunity and going, wow, I don't have to share everything with the company that I was with. I can actually run my own show and build a team. And so you're in country Victoria in a sense, and you could build a team all around Australia or the globe for that matter. That's pretty exciting.
Oh, absolutely, and that's 100% part of the attraction. Even had feedbacks. I'm friends with a lot of guys within the real estate market in Warragul, and the feedback that is coming from trainers, the trainers are all saying, "Hey, it's a good model. It's a great model for agents." Once again, what's the most important part for someone going into it is it's a company that actually works for you. So yeah, that's definitely,
I'll
and I
just
guess
get
also
I'll get your
the low
opinion
cost
on
base as
this.
well.
I'll get your opinion on this, Ben. I was talking to somebody the other day, and so often in the way that real estate has been done, we've thought about the brand that we're working for as our team. So if you're an AFL fan in Australia, you know, you're a Collingwood supporter, you're Essendon, you know, you're the Swans, you're the Lions, whatever, or you're a tragic like
I
me
feel
and a
sorry for
Dockers
you, Ben.
supporter. But but that's your team, you know, and you kind of get defensive of your team and whatnot. But really, the real estate, as a real estate agent, the company that I choose to align with, either I start my own or I work with that company and that structure and the tools that they offer, that whole company is just a tool that allows me to do what I need to do as a real estate agent. And I think if we can take the emotion out of that and just look at the facts, what this company offers is unprecedented anywhere else in Australia, and it is a tool. So you've got your own brand, which you can build that brand and whatnot, but you're getting all the benefits of being a part of the larger EXP Australia family, which is obviously a sub-branch of EXP Realty in North America and the UK. So pretty
Yes.
exciting times. Tell me, what
Oh, that's all right.
struggles you're going through as a new startup in country Victoria?
Well, look, obviously not the look. I'm probably a glass half full person, so there's never I guess a bad time, but it's probably not the best time to start up. But look, having
For
said
those
that,
of you
it's
watching this, if
presented
you're watching this later, this
opportunities.
is in the we're about a month into the COVID-19
Oh, sorry. Yep.
crisis. So
Yes. So we're in lockdown, stage 3, Victoria. You're allowed out the home if if you need to get food or for an emergency. So look, it's presenting opportunities, but also obviously constrictions on what you can do.
yep.
Even to the point of like I'd started my DL flyers just before it came on, and then after listening to too much radio, I decided for a week or two, no, I can't do that. But now having thought about it and saying it, I'm going, no, look, that's fine. I can do that.
Yeah.
So there's things that are restricted, things that are that you can do. I'm focusing on social media, trying to build through that,
Right.
and doing
I think
a
that's a
fair
great
bit of training
strategy.
too. Investing in training, Glenn Twiddle, who's been pretty good.
Yep.
So those and listening to podcasts. As look, being in there 5 years, still learning. I know what I'm doing, but you can never know too much.
Absolutely. I've been in here.
Yeah.
I've been in the industry in Australia for 18 years, and I sometimes feel like, all right, now I can start. Because you're constantly learning new things.
Yeah. So
that's it.
that's pretty much. And
yeah, keep going.
No, I was going to say. So look, there is people still listing houses. There's still people selling, all that sort of thing. So there's the need doesn't stop.
Absolutely. And so who knows what's going to happen with COVID-19, but what's your game plan? What's the future hold for Ben Codling and Baba Real Estate there? What's your goal? How do you want to go? How do you want to grow?
Look, my goal currently is, and I guess the model EXP. I've been using EXP more as like I'm not focusing on the building anyone around me. I'm obviously in business building mode for myself at the moment. Obviously, I've got set markers within my business that I'm trying to get to. At the moment, I've got 3 listings. My goal is to have 4 or 5 a month that I can turn. So 10, 15. I'm not going to. That's my first point of call. And once I'm there, I'm going to think it probably from there. And because I know people within the industry here who would love the EXP model. So and they're actually bigger sellers. So if I can show that it works, then we can actually push on from there. So
and that's why I wanted to chat.
Look, the focus
I think you are the absolute perfect candidate for that EXP model, linking with your own brand. You're you know, when you're watching real estate training or interviews or whatnot, and they go, tell us a little about yourself. And they go, well, I'm in the flashiest suburb of the flashiest state, and I've only sold, you know, $400 million worth of property in the last day. You know,
Yes.
and those of us in the real world are going, what? We
Yeah,
can't.
exactly right. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you know,
not
like, and that's
same.
fine for certain people, but for those of us that are mums and dads and we're out making a living and we're providing for our family, I think talking to someone like you, it's really exciting to see how that, I mean, you've only been going for a few weeks really, and you've got 3 listings,
Realistically, yeah.
and that's
Yes,
so
yeah,
exciting. I mean, that's tick,
yeah,
that's a big tick, you know.
yeah. Now for the hard part, to sell them.
Yes, yes. It's a funny scenario, isn't it? The whole real estate thing is, we as agents work so hard to get a listing, and then we have to sell it, and we don't control what the seller's expectations are, and we don't control how the market responds. We don't control
No,
the
exactly.
presentation of the property, although we give guidance on all these things, but ultimately it's the client's decision. So
Exactly
it's a
right.
cool
Exactly
industry.
right. Exactly right. And look, I think in this market at the moment, even more so than ever. It's about the relationship build, and having the technology there to be current. So if you can combine those 2 things, then you're a fair shot of succeeding at currently. So
Absolutely. And so just talking about the technology side of life, you know, there's a lot of reps. I don't know how old you are, Ben, but like I'm 49. I'm okay with technology. I'm not flash. How old are you?
45.
45. Yep. So you're within that window of we're certainly not millennials. We're certainly not you know, the young the young. But we're seeing,
No.
at least where I am, I'm in Perth, and real estate people that have survived in our marketplace are pretty much between, say, 45 and 65. And when they hear about
Yes.
EXP's technology, some of them are a bit scared about how would I do that? You know, like
Yeah.
how have you found it?
Well, look, I think I've probably come from a background where I've always been in my workplaces. I've been the technology and enabler, and been probably the one that people have potentially gone to help get to use it. So I'm probably have an open mind to it.
Yeah,
And look, just the amazing technology these days with tours and all that sort of stuff. It's, you know, you'd be crazy not to take it on board, whether you're 45 or
yeah,
65. You know, it's about ease of use, and people being in their comfortable environment and being able to look at houses, and you know, and then effectively, if they get to physically get to the house, hopefully they're having a second look or a third
yeah.
look, effectively, because they've seen the virtual tour, they've seen the pictures, they've seen the video, you know, they've seen it all. So yeah.
No, that's very cool. And what would you say to somebody that's thinking about, that you might speak to in the future about EXP, or others are concerned? What would you say to them about the EXP model? Obviously, we're a startup and we're
Look,
still working a few things out, but what do you think about the model?
oh no, it's a very good model. And look, I think you've got good state managers in there, yourself obviously, and Emily, that I deal with quite regularly. Find dealing with you guys is an absolute pleasure. And it's in these times, you know, sometimes it can get to you a little bit sometimes, but a good chat, and look, it's and the outlook is better. In terms of EXP, I think the model itself presents far more opportunity on multiple levels. So you get more commission. You've got the ability to get passive income, which is huge.
So amazing.
There's travel if you want it. You know, why wouldn't you choose that model versus the traditional you know, the traditional agency model of rental, expensive overheads, And that's whether you're an owner or whether you ended up working for someone under, under someone within EXP. The possibilities are endless, really.
It's so, the model, and if you don't understand the model completely and you're watching this video, talk to the person that's shared the video with you, or that's talked to you about EXP. There's just so many layers to it. I've been exposed to the model for quite some time now, but I've been working with EXP since December 2019, and every time I look at the model and I think about the model, I just think, really? Because I've come out of that franchise and or marketing group kind of a model where it's the money seems to flow up. From my hard work, it flows out of my pockets and further up to the flasher office.
Exactly right. Yeah, and in a lot of cases, the money flows upwards, and the business itself has a one person front anyway. So like the senior partner or whatever else. So as an agent, you're doing the hard work. You are building your network, but you're doing it for less than 50% commission, and you're not really building your profile either. I think, and that's where this model is much better.
I think you just hit on something really, really important going forward, particularly as we move out of COVID-19, which eventually we will at some point. I think so many brands, whether they be franchises or strong independents or whatnot, are trying to limit the agent being promoted so heavily. They want the brand promoted because the agent they know is nomadic. The agent isn't stationary, isn't glued to them. So they often will push financial resources and marketing whatnot into building the brand, but not that agent. And I know in some cases that the agents aren't even allowed to really promote themselves. Whereas the way forward is you as the agent has to be the brand, the face of the brand. So that's
exactly right. Yeah, and look, and that's very much the case here, and experienced with people who I've worked with previously. If they've been very successful, every agent gets to that point in their career where they have that. Gee, I've done this, but I've made them as much as I've made me. I probably should be getting more.
Yeah.
So and that's the agent. I mean, if there's an agent like that now, looking at this video or any EXP video, definitely well worth considering.
Yeah. But that's only if you want to have control of your own destiny, make more money, and build a bright future for yourself. If you're happy not doing any of that, stay where you are.
But, yes, that's true. If you're happy not doing that, then keep on going, and and those guys are still doing well. So
yeah, that's right.
You can always do better, can't you?
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that I enjoy about EXP is, even though there are challenges just like in any other environment, when we talk to each other one-on-one and we're bouncing each other ideas off of each other, it really boosts your energy.
Absolutely.
I'll talk to you and I'll think about this interview all day, and I'll be going, oh man, I hope Ben does really well. I hope he gets another listening or two. And I love that collaboration.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's the beauty of it. It's we're all a part of a team. And my success doesn't, if it's there, or your success, it doesn't impinge on the other person's. It's a growth opportunity for everyone. It's not a case of I'm going to do better so that you don't. It's a case of, hey, if you do well, I'm going to take some learnings off you, and if I'm doing well, someone might take some learnings of the things that I'm doing that work.
What you're saying
and it all gets spread around.
Model where you might have 8 agents in an office. It's a franchise model or whatever. Somehow there's always seems to be one agent that does really, really well, and there's some people in the middle, and then some people struggling, and the person that does really well comes in and puts a listing on the board or a sale on the board, and everyone else is like, ha ha.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's look, that's where I started my career too. Like you go into the weekly meetings and all that sort of stuff. So, and obviously also within the business structures, the people who actually control it also can manipulate. So it's look, the model is. I think any business that allows you to work hard for yourself and see the benefits, and even as we said previously, like the share stuff in the background, all that sort of stuff. I mean, there's not many businesses you can be succeeding, making lots of money, but in the background still be creating these shares in the background and all this other stuff that comes in there, and you just go, wow, that And look, in 12 months' time, that's where I want to be. Yeah. So
it's great because it is an aspirational model, and there are. Even if you do have a bad day and you want to go and kick the cat or whatever you do, you can wake up in the morning, go, new day, getting on with it. Let's get up and let's get going. So much opportunity here.
Yep, 100% right.
No, that's great. Hey, Ben, thanks so much for your time today. I know you're busy and you're building a new business, and I can only imagine how many opportunities there are to work through there. So thanks so much. Guys, if you are interested in learning more about EXP, I encourage you to reach out to Ben. His details will be at the end of this video, or reach out to whoever shared this video with you. If we can ever help you, be sure to reach out to us. We're happy to give a phone call, a Zoom meeting, and just to discuss how your business is going. And Ben, I'm sure you're happy to have people give you a buzz and talk about how you're using EXP to fuel your own brand.
Absolutely. More than happy.